We are here in this dried up swamp. It's still a swamp, nonetheless, but it used to be a humongous marshy lake, and now it has been dried up. And this area has been claimed by the humongous Spinosaurus sailback. He's not the largest Spinosaurus on the island, for Jaws is still alive. And at the end of season 1 of Dinosaur Island, we saw that the humongous Spinosaurus Jaws had defeated him. But now he has claimed the swampy marsh bed as his territory. He begins looking for food, and he finds something. As he was smelling around, he had found the carcass of a shark. I said this was a lake, a swampy lake. A shark. He begins feeding on a shark that must have lived in the lake long before it was dried up. He begins pulling it out of the weeds and rips into its rotten flesh. Now, if a T-Rex were to find this, he would probably not eat it. But a Spinosaurus are fish eaters, and so sailback would easily eat this. Here we see a Maiasaura mother. She has made her nest in a bad place, right in this marsh. She had built in her nest when it was almost dried up, thinking that it'd be a good spot since there was still water, a little bit of water. And now her young have hatched, but they're too young to get out of the nest. Thankfully, there's a lot of food around here, and usually an Ankylosaurus wandering around. But today, the Ankylosaurus has seemed to go off, but will most likely come back. The mother has laid 2 eggs. Both have already hatched and are both extremely healthy, but they're being stalked by 3 predators. From season 1, it's the Utah Raptor pack. The juvenile male, the female, and the alpha male Utah Raptor. The alpha male decides to head in and scout around the lake. They're looking directly at the eggs for some food. You must be extremely cautious, for there is still the Spinosaurus, but he seems extremely full. Up on the ridge is the challenger, Jaws. He wants the entire island to himself. He knows that he claims the entire island, for he's the largest thing here, so he claims everything. He claims all the food. If he sees something, he can claim all the food. But the young Spinosaurus Spinosaurus wants to be the dominant predator on the island, but he's just too small at the moment. Sailback backs up and sits in the marsh as his kill gets taken. He begins ripping into the flesh and begins to feed on it. Sailback decides to move on and find somewhere else to be. Where he is in a marshy area, there's most likely going to be the carcass of a fish or another dinosaur that's sunken in the mud. Here we have a Carnotaurus. He is also looking at those eggs, but the Utahraptors have claimed. But he knows that these Utahraptors can outnumber him and are much larger. The Utahraptors have decided to go in. The juvenile male heads in, impaling the mother, but she fights back and stomps him into the ground. And the male goes in. The female follows and attacks, but she swings them off. Both of the the male and the female, run off. She guards her young, and the spine and jaws notices it. But instead of going for the nest, he goes right for the female Utahraptor. And goes right in for the kill, killing her. Both of the Utahraptors run off. You may think what I said earlier, as Jaws wants the entire island to himself, you may think he's the bad guy, but he is really standing up for some of the plant eaters. An unbelievable sight. But maybe he's only saving her for himself. Most likely, dinosaurs are much smarter than we think. And most likely, he was saving the young, so the Maiasaura could repopulate a little more, and so that there would be much more for him to eat. The Carnotaurus knows that that's not good, but he decides to move in, seeing that the Spinosaurus is not eating the Utahraptor carcass and wants to take a bite. This Carnotaurus we are going to call Horns. He is almost fully grown. He's about 20 feet long, and they can get up to 25 feet. He moves in slowly and begins to feed. You know, this is not safe here, and drags the carcass off to feed on.